What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, one physical therapist assistant. Shout out to you for coming through. It's warm and then it's cold and it's warm and then it's cold. You don't know what I want to do. Oh man, hope y'all good today, man. Welcome back. Hope everybody's feeling well. Another hard day of work. Another day of hanging out with the legends of America. Y'all know I rocks with them. Had a good day with them today. A really good day with them. Yo, everybody's in their room. So remember I told you I live in the state of Delaware, right? So everybody gets Philly news. They get Philadelphia news here, right? Everybody's watching the Eagles parade today. It's a big day. It's the Parade of Champions. I watched some of it in about 6 rooms. I was bouncing around rooms, getting people, stopping for a minute, watching a little bit of the parade. I had this one lady, she's like maybe mid-90s, cute little lady. She's my homegirl. She was like, "Did you see this on the television?" I said, "Yes, the parade is right up the street in Philly." I said, "You want to go?" She was like, "Oh no, I'm not going to that." She said, "They're climbing in the trees." She said, "They're climbing in the trees and on the poles." I said, "Yes, it's Philadelphia. That's what they do. They got some special fans up there." Shout out to all the Eagles fans. I said they have some very special fans in that state. She was like, "Oh my God." She said, "I saw one lady. She was on top of a car with a baby." She was like, "I couldn't believe it." I said, "Yes, I told you. They're special." Shout out to the Philly fans. I was cracking up. Everybody was watching the parade. Everybody was celebrating on this Valentine's Day. Oh man, hope y'all are good today. I really do. Today's lesson is going to be interesting. I'm going to start sharing a little bit more of myself, y'all, and the things that I learned from the older generation and how it applied in my life personally. I know I've done a little bit of that, but I'm going to dive a little bit deeper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to y'all how working in nursing homes helped me to become debt free. I got a few stories to y'all. Do y'all like stories? I'm going to share some stories with y'all. All right, so one more thing I found out about driving while vlogging. I just wanted to share in case anybody's thinking about doing it. You got to make sure also that the camera is mounted hands-free. You're not touching it. You're just talking. But also you got to make sure that that mount in that camera does not obstruct your view of the road, does not obstruct your view of your windshield. So I would think something like mounting it to a windshield, like with a suction or whatever. You know, I know some people do that with GoPros and things. You probably want to avoid that because now you're obstructing the windshield. Whew. But anyway, yes, I'm going to share a few stories with y'all about debt. Anybody like stories about debt? You can tune into somebody like a Dave Ramsey show and he can give you like stories and callers call in, talk about how much debt they in. It'd be astronomical numbers, man. For the average American, you know, the average American is in a lot of debt. I don't want you to be the average American. America wants you to be the average American. You feel what I'm saying? America needs you to be the average American. America needs you to take after its culture because America is in so much debt. What are we up to, like 37 trillion, something like that? There's a whole debt clock you can look at and you can see how much debt we go in by the hour. It's billions and trillions of dollars. It's ridiculous. But that culture has permeated society, meaning the average person thinks that a lot of debt is okay. It's not a big deal, you know? I mean, think about just buying a house. You sign 30 years of your life away or 15 years of your life away like it's nothing, like it's normal. And that becomes normal in society. I remember reading somewhere that mortgage was never really a thing, but the bank had to sell money. If you're a bank, you can't sell money without something attached to it. So what do you attach to that money? You attach the American dream. You attach 15 years, 30 years of money borrowing to a thing. House, okay? But let's get to the stories and how working in nursing homes has helped me become debt free. I'll give you one story. Met this lady a few years back. nice lady, was telling me her woes and telling me her issues. She told me that she was in debt on her single wide trailer for over $100,000. How in the world are you in debt for a single wide trailer over $100,000? Well, she told me she owns the trailer. Wait a minute, excuse me. She owns the trailer, like paid off the trailer. Bought the trailer back in maybe 1970 something for $25,000. Okay, that's not bad. $25,000 for a trailer, free and clear. You just got to pay lot rent. But later on, she took out what we call a HELOC. You know what a HELOC is, right? A home equity line of credit. That's when you take out a loan against the equity in your home. Now, it's a single wide trailer. There's not a lot of equity there. But she borrowed. She said she borrowed for some repairs and also some other things that she wanted to do. I don't know what those things are. However, when I met her, she's in a nursing home for an injury, let's say, and she has to be there for a while. However, she's stressing about how she's going to make the payments on this home equity line of credit. She calls it a mortgage. But it was kind of like she bought 4 more trailers. She borrowed money to buy 4 more trailers, and now she has to pay it back. But she's in some health issues. She's dealing with some health issues and stressing about how to pay it back. That's one story. Okay, I'm going to fast forward through these stories. Another story is a guy I met not too long ago. Nice guy, still working in his 70s. Now, there's nothing wrong with working in your 70s. Some people still do it, but he suffered a major health issue, had to come to rehab. What did he stress about throughout the whole rehab stay? He stressed about paying his mortgage. Stressed about paying his mortgage. You're in your 70s. I don't know what you did in your past. However, one thing I learned from these 2 cases, this is 2, I'll give you another one, is that it's probably not a good idea to still be in debt when you beyond retirement age, you know? You feel what I'm saying? So try to avoid it. How can you avoid it? Well, don't make, large purchases that you can't manage. Pay off your credit cards. Don't buy too much house. Don't buy, get into big loans that are going to be hard to pay off. You feel what I'm saying? And the last lesson, the last story was a guy I met. This one was a little sad. Met a guy, mid-80s. This was maybe a few years back. Met a guy, never forget this. Met a guy a few years back, recently lost his wife. And he was relying on his wife to help pay the mortgage from her Social Security, his Social Security. He had cashed out his 401k. He's in his 80s, so he cashed out his 401k, spent that. That's not available anymore. He had a small pension. His small pension and his Social Security and her Social Security were paying for the mortgage on their new home in his 80s. Yes, you heard me. I said it right. In his 80s. He was relying on that to pay the mortgage. Wife passes away. That Social Security stops. I met him. He's stressing in his 80s about how to pay the mortgage on this big new home. Y'all have heard plenty of these stories before from me, right? The reason why I keep telling y'all these types of stories is I learned so much from them. So I feel like if I share these stories with y'all, it'll make you think, you know what? I don't need that when I'm older. What's the point when I'm going to be in debt and anything could happen? And when you're older, that's when the health issues pop up. That's when they pop up. Even if you are healthy, even if you're taking care of your health. I get it. But these issues, knee replacements, strokes, hip replacements, things like that start to creep in when you start reaching those later stages. So you got to fight that American urge. I call it the American urge to buy bigger and better. And it also didn't help that my man in his 80s was driving I never forget, all black on black Yukon. Yeah, you think he had trouble getting in that car? Yes, he did. It was messed up because I felt bad for his wife recently passing away, and he was mourning that, but to be honest, seemed to be stressing more about how he was going to make the payments because her Social Security was no longer coming in, more so than he was mourning the loss of his wife. You know, and I didn't look at him bad for this. I didn't. I could tell, and he told me that they've been together for a very, very long time, and he may have been, you know, I'm not going to say expecting, but I don't know how to, I want to word it right. I think you know what I'm saying. He may have been expecting that, you know, she was getting ill and it was close to the end, but he didn't take into account that he bought this big house without considering that part. These lessons, these stories, y'all, these stories, I'm sorry to make it a little bit somber, and I'm not telling you these stories to scare you. I don't want to be in the type of YouTube video that scares people into making decisions. I don't want to be that, because there's enough of that out there. There's financial channels that talk about market crashes coming up next week, and cryptocurrency going to crash, and buy this cryptocurrency because this one's going to crash, and this investment is going to, there's tons of that out there. I don't want to be in that category, but I do want to be in the category that shares some true stories with you, some life lessons with you that you can learn from, maybe help you, again, think about your future self, move a little bit different. Those kind of stories is how I got myself out of debt. When I hear those types of stories, I look at the stuff that I possess, I look at the stuff that I quote unquote may have wanted, and I determine whether or not it's worth it based off of this kind of stuff. Because I always tell y'all, in the end, close to the end, none of that stuff matters. None of that stuff matters. So what's the point of taking out another loan, getting some more debt, even if interest rates are low? What's the point of getting the next big thing? Whew. And if you can grasp that while you're young, if you can grasp that concept, the younger you are, I think you'll be better served going forward. Home equity line of credit. I would never or could never even fathom doing anything like that. I don't even understand why it's a thing. Home equity line of credit. Timeshares. That's another one. Ooh. I'll tell y'all in another video about timeshares. I've had some timeshare horror stories. Gotta understand the thing about timeshares, man. And I've been to a few of those presentations. I know y'all have. Some of y'all might have timeshares. I'm not hating on you. But when you go to those presentations, you go in a room and it's about 50 sets of families and couples sitting around, and everybody's trying to tell them timeshares, sell them timeshares. Now you know that they could care less if they get all those people to buy timeshares. They could care less if they get those 50 people to buy timeshares. But if they can knock off like a good 7 to 10, that's a good day. That's a good day. And I echo the sentiment. I don't know if you ever heard Dave Ramsey. You probably heard of him. I follow him. Don't agree with everything, but I do find his wisdom to be interesting and beneficial for most people. But he has a line, he has a quote. He says that timeshares are one of the biggest legal scams in America. I echo that sentiment. Never owned one. My mother did, and I saw what she went through with it and trying to get rid of it. Yes, one of the biggest legal scams in America, I would agree. Did we enjoy using it? Yes, we enjoyed using it, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't buy one. Oh, man. But anyway, I appreciate y'all. I really do. I really do appreciate y'all. Shout out to anybody who gets any value from this, any kind of lesson, something you can relate to, something to make you think. As I'm telling you, man, when you in a nursing home for an injury or an illness or life-threatening injury, the last thing you want to be worrying about is your payments, is your debt. Okay? So get out of debt. Make it a goal to get out of debt, debt-free. It's a good feeling. It is a very good feeling. It is a very good feeling. Psychologically, it's on par with being a little stress-free, you feel me? Not having any stress. Because I don't care what you owe, what kind of payments you make in your car, your house, your boat, your motorcycle, your timeshare. I don't care what kind of debt you have. It adds a layer of stress. It adds a level of stress because you got to make that payment. But y'all, I want y'all to have a good Friday, a good weekend. If y'all hit that Eagles parade, shout out to you. But y'all be safe as always, man. Respect your elders, man. Respect your elders. Help them out every chance you get. Help anybody out any chance you get. And I will holler at y'all in the next video.